And we're back. Our first guest is Mike Collier. Mike is the man with the weather answers on Tulsa's Channel 8 KTUL. Mike, welcome. Good to have you here, lad.
Sam, it really is a pleasure. I got to tell you a quick story. I was 12, 13 years old, at home, watching television. Every night I turn into You're On with Sam Jones. So I was a huge fan, loyal viewer. The Sonny Gray Trio on, you had them on. I could tell you stories about shows probably you don't even remember. But anyway, it was always my dream. I was like, I want to be on with Sam. That looks like such a cool show. So this is a dream come true to be able to sit here with you.
Enough sucking up. I'll give you $1.
All right, sounds good.
Mike, the reason I wanted to have you on, aside from the fact that I think you're an incredibly nice guy and very good at what you do, I have watched your career over the years. I have seen you go from a novice at 23,
right? Yep.
Channel 23, up through the ranks at Channel 8, and I've been very impressed with what I've seen. And I thought it would be a good opportunity for two people to sit down. I have an interest in what's coming. Of course, I'm not going to be around for a lot of the changes, but people your age and younger will. Southern California is in the midst of a horrible, horrible drought. And scientists on both sides of the fence say it's going to get worse. Now, by both sides of the fence, let me qualify this for the folks at home. Global warming, up until about a year ago, was denied by a lot of folk. Now, global warming is accepted as fact. What divides them is what's really causing it. So, if we know global warming is at fault, can anything be done? Therein lies an incredible debate, and it's going to take better minds than moi to figure it out. But I can tell you this. We've watched the drought and the fires in California. They say now it's just waiting for a spark to wipe out virtually all of California and neighboring states. The aquifer that for so many years has fed farmers' water supply in the western part of the state and other states is shrinking. The water level is down what they consider to be now a halfway point. We are seeing storms that develop in Oklahoma, which we are known for rough weather here. We're seeing storms develop that are beyond the pale. They're either way over here, incredibly severe, or we don't get a thing.
Right.
What's going on, Mike?
Well, we have to state the fact and agree to the fact that, the Earth is warming. What causes, let's not even get to that. Let's just stick with the facts. So the Earth is warming. The impacts have been significant. We were supposed to have an incredible El Nino last year, and that was supposed to help the drought out in California and help things improve as far as rain, unfortunately caused flooding. But what happened was this El Nino didn't do what it was planned to do. We did not see the heavy rains, the flooding, the mudslides, any of that occur. It really didn't do much. It kept temperatures mild, but the rain was lacking, which is truly incredible for an El Nino. So now we're in a neutral zone where we don't have La Nina going on, we don't have El Nino. So we're kind of stuck in the middle. We're developing a drought here in eastern Oklahoma, and the latest drought index, and I'll show that to you here, is showing it.
Intense.
Yeah, a drought reforming here in the eastern Oklahoma area. When we thought we were out of it, the past year or two, seeing above normal rainfall in eastern Oklahoma, and now we're back down. So as you alluded to, we're getting these extremes. And this is what the global warming is producing, these extremes. You go from extreme drought to flooding in a matter of like that.
Let me clear the air on something here too, Mike. A lot of folks drive down the freeway or down the highways of Oklahoma and they see farm ponds with water in them. Well, there's no drought. That pond's full of water.
Right.
Which is not true.
That's true. And a lot of people say, well, we just had rain a couple of days ago, so the drought's over. You could have rain 1 out of 80 days, and you can't say the drought is over. You need rain over a constant period of time. And what you're seeing there is almost like a Band-Aid effect. You're putting the Band-Aid on. You see water fill up in the actual ponds for the brief time. But then over time, you have to go below the surface and to really find the effects of the drought. And you go to the aquifer situation, and that's what we're dealing with. Over years, this begins to compact and cause a bigger problem.
It is. And what's intense, too, is as you and I sit here and talk, we got a major hurricane moving in on the coast of
Right.
Florida. It's already hit Haiti. We know there's well over 100 deaths.
Right.
And that's expected to climb. Evacuations widespread in Florida. We have no concept of what's coming, but it's so involved and so intense that the governor asked for and received a declaration of emergency status
Right.
from the president, and I mean he, with very little waste of time, said, you got it. So that clears the door, or opens the door for a lot of aid quickly.
Absolutely. I believe it's Governor Haley of South Carolina. He was on top of it. I have friends there that are like, wow, this governor's got it going on.
Yeah, and the governor of Florida has done the same thing.
Right.
Now, here's my question. Isn't this also a part of the same problem, the hurricane that just roared in seemingly out of nowhere? Isn't that also part of the change in the oceans?
You know, it is. I don't really like to emphasize one specific event to the globe as a whole. We have to look at it kind of on a grander scale. Will we start to see more intensifying hurricanes affecting land areas, more populated areas? Absolutely. I think over time it'll be the judge on what Matthew was a result of. And that's something we have to deal with as scientists. We kind of have to test the theory out and let it play out and see how it evolves.
It's not an exacting science, which, as you know, and it's a rough thing. You're going to say, well, you said it's going to rain. I'm so tired of hearing that.
Yeah, you know, that's real quick, Sam. I get this a lot. I think people at home expect more than what meteorologists can actually give them these days. They expected, hey, it's 8 o'clock tomorrow, I've got this event, is it going to rain or not? At a specific location. I mean, that is absolutely predicting the future at a certain spot, which is, you don't see many other people doing that on this earth.
That's why you guys get the big bucks, though.
Exactly. Our data can't go that fine-tuned. What we have a resolution of a certain area, a certain grid of eastern Oklahoma, and to get it down to a town is incredibly tough. So we still have to remind people that we're still dealing with generalities here. You know, when we say a 20, 30% chance, it's for pretty much the whole given area.
I think you brought some more graphics with you other than that one, didn't you? We'll take a look at that. What are we seeing here, Mike?
Well, this is our fall outlook, and the drought looks to continue. Now, Matthew, because it's a small-scale event, might change that for the southeastern United States a little bit, might help them out for fall. But most of Texas and now creeping Oklahoma, we're looking at the potential for below normal and the potential for the drought to continue to develop here in eastern Oklahoma, down in Texas and Louisiana. And, you know, we've got a lot of crops down that way in our state as well. Farmers really need the rain, and we just don't look to see get a lot of it over a 90-day period.
What about precipitation? Not precipitation, temperature.
Temperature looks warm. You know, drier is much easier to warm than moist air. So when you have dry conditions, you typically get warmer conditions as well. So they have a play on each other. But overall, with no major factor of El Nino or La Nina playing, you know, we're kind of stuck in the middle and no real impact to keep us cold or keep us extremely warm. So overall, we'll tend to a range above average.
Okay, let me put you out on a limb. If I understand you correctly, there's really no reason for me to buy snow tires.
You know, it goes back to what you said in the beginning, these extremes, because we can go from one extreme where we're well above normal and to potentially well below normal to above normal in a day or two. We're looking at a winter outlook for our precipitation, still below normal for much of the southern United States. The northern United States could see more snow than usual and colder than normal conditions. So if you want snow, you're going to have to head to the north. In Oklahoma, I'm not going to say it's going to be a snowless winter, almost like last year. I think we'll get hit once we start getting a more transition possibly to a La Nina, and that would occur maybe next February or March is when we might see our snow next year.
You know, when I moved to Oklahoma with my family back in, I believe it was '79, we had some intense weather patterns. Moved through.
Yeah.
We had, you know, the big flood of '84 that moved through Tulsa, killed 14.
Right.
The flood of '86, where the dam was messed up.
30 years ago, yeah.
And then we've had incredible ice storms.
Right.
One that just cleaned our plow. I mean, good Lord, the whole area was brought to its knees. Now, the last couple of winters have been on the mild side.
They really, truly have. And, you know, we go in cycles. We really do. Everything is cyclical in the weather world. You know, what's happened before will happen again. And we're looking at our winter outlook as far as the temperatures above normal is what we're looking at. But when we say that, our temperatures average, let's say, at 46 degrees. For that forecast to verify, the average for the winter season could be 48. That's still is pretty significant. You have a 2-degree surplus above normal. But that doesn't mean it's still not going to be cold. Now, what I was going back to the cycles, our Pacific Ocean goes through cycles, 10 years. It changes from colder to warm. So we see that transition. That has a huge impact on our weather,
Sure.
the whole United States, that is. So right now we are in a pattern where high pressure is setting up out west, and it's keeping all the storm systems up in the northern United States, and they skirt off in the East Coast, away from us, keeping us warmer and drier than normal.
Well, I don't envy you your job, especially now with everything, you know, all the elements being juggled around out there.
Exactly.
But thank you so
Well, thank you,
much
Sam.
for coming
It's
by. It's so good
pleasure
to see
seeing you.
and it's great to have you here, man.
Thank you, sir.
May have to do this again down the road.
Absolutely. Anytime. You just call me up.
We're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we'll take a look at the new season of I Want Answers right after this.